Um, Mr. Singh, same question to you.
Yeah. So I think, the oldest debate in our industry is about online and offline. And I don't know and I don't understand why there is a debate. One is a platform. You people are the human interface. What you bring to the table, no one else can. Like Rohit said, you are the product. You get the customers, you tie up the hotel, you give all services from the time the customer enters the country, the guest enters the country till the time he leaves. I think it's about valuing the service that you provide, the facilities, what you bring to the table very differently. And I'll give you a classic example. I know this is a very fragmented space, but so is hotels. And I'll give you a very classic example. Pre-COVID, if you ask my hotelier friends on this table and otherwise, it was always a price battle. It was all about competing about price. But let me tell you what COVID has taught us, and these are facts and figures which you will see play out. In the last 2.5, 3 months, the average rate of hotels are 15 to 20% higher than April and May of 2019. What does it tell you? I think it's about valuing the price, the service that we provide, what we are worth. And hotels have, even though it's a very fragmented space, I think it's a call that we've all taken individually. And in our business, in the hotel business, it's always occupancy first and rates to follow. But let me tell you today, Indian occupancy, the average India occupancy is still not caught on to the pre-COVID levels, but the rates are 15 to 20% higher. So it's not about chasing volumes, but it's about chasing value. And I think that's the big change that is brought on in our space in the pre and the post pandemic era.
A follow-on question, in terms of the mix of distribution, online, direct, and through travel agents on the B2, let's say B2C, B2B, and the direct part of it. How has it changed pre-COVID? What was the trends that you were seeing from Lemon Tree's perspective?
So I'll tell you, the situation, Kapil, right now is very fluid. Corporate travel still hasn't started.
No, I'm talking about pre-COVID. I'll come to COVID.
So I'll tell you, pre-COVID it depends on portfolio, but Lemon Tree has a very large portfolio in business cities. And therefore for us, corporate was a very large segment. Online and offline both work. We don't have too many leisure locations, or we didn't pre-COVID. So therefore, the contribution to the leisure portfolio, which is what a lot of the offline travel agents bring to the table, was relatively a smaller number. But today, let me tell you that in the post-pandemic world, the distribution has changed in multiple ways. A lot of new segments have come up. For example, if I tell you that, the OTT platforms today contribute a very large percentage of our business in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because they shoot these serials and they take over the entire hotel for a month or two, and they give you good business. A lot of customers have moved to retail. In fact, they are the ones who, instead of, so there's been a big shift from the unbranded to the branded. And we are already seeing that with the big surge in the retail segment. When I say retail, it could be an FIT walking into the hotel, using an online platform, using an offline agent. So that's been a big shift. These are guys who typically would not use branded hotels earlier to COVID, but that's a new trend and a very important trend that's come up.
In fact, that's my next question, but you can continue with that. Yeah, you can continue with that. I was just
talking of segments pre and post staycations. Now, staycations is something which we saw come out in very large numbers and volumes in the COVID era, because every time you were locked up in your houses for weeks and months together, and therefore, even before you venture to another city, you decided to take a vacation in the city that you live in. So that's a new segment which came up, which never existed pre-COVID. So, like I said, the world has changed. Hoteliers have probably realized the value of the product and the service they offer. I think we've got down to pricing ourselves right, and that's the new world for us today.
I'm tempted to ask you this. I ask these through airline guys, and we see some airline guys here. We may catch up with them as well. There is this, 15-20% increase in the fares that you said, and you see airlines also possibly getting about 400-500 rupees more than the same period last year. Is it sustainable according to you? And what makes you think that it's sustainable?
I think two reasons. A, it's sustainable. B, my view is that come October, it'll grow even further. What you see right now is a lot of people say this is pent up demand and therefore it'll even out. But I have 2-3 points to this. Firstly, there's been a paradigm shift from the unbranded to the branded. And I'm sure my colleagues here will agree that there has been a big shift. People are now, things like safety, security, hygiene, which were table stakes and no one really looked at it too much, in my opinion, have become very important. And I think they would prefer to go to a brand or a chain for that. That's one reason. Secondly, I think what in the last 2 years, the kind of destruction that the industry has gone through, no one's going to put up hotels. And unlike an airline where you can just go buy an aircraft, lease one, and add supply, in our business, to build a hotel is a 3, 4, 5 year phenomena. And I don't see supply growing beyond 4-5% for the next 4 to 5 years. So keeping these factors in mind, I think this rate hike is sustainable, and I don't see a reason why it won't go up further.
Okay, thank you very much.